Well, I'm happy we waited until Thursday to do this show because overnight, Arsenal are in the news. We actually have got a few things to cover. Obviously, the main story Bruno Guimaraes. I've already put it in the poll for everybody. Simple question. At the end of the summer window, will Bruno be an Arsenal player? Yes or no? I will reveal what the majority of people think. I'm guessing because the audience is mostly Gooners that we're going to be voting yes. But, I'd be surprised. Everybody has different opinions. I know there are a few Gunners already who still, after today, doubt the deal. But we'll get into all of that, all the aspects of the deal in terms of how we believe the deal can get done. We'll talk about obviously how Bruno's could fit in the Arsenal team, what he brings to Arsenal. We talked about it a bit on the last podcast, but it was part of a segment. This time, this is the Bruno G episode. Well, probably one of many because if the saga continues to push out. The other topic we're going to talk about, Arsenal's first signing, and it's Ilan Meslier, a backup goalkeeper I know is very underwhelmed. Another topic, by the way, Jeremy Monga, Arsenal. A week ago we spoke on this pod, or what was it, 9 days ago when we last spoke. We almost said, hey, Monga is probably most likely going to be our first signing of the summer. He's actually a Manchester City player. How did that go down? How did that collapse? There's been a huge meltdown over the last week in terms of how that went down. So we're not going to ignore that story. And the other part, by the way, is Gunner Blog speaking last night, basically saying that a 40 million euros deal for Christos Solis is going to basically happen. And he expects him to join Arsenal for around that fee. So we've got lots to talk about. But first, of course, I'm here with my regular co-hosts, my boys, Jake and Cal in the building. How are we going? By the way, Jake, you've been doing all the World Cup shows. It's good to have a day where, there were no games. You can take a breather. How are you going, my friend?
Well, I'm doing great, overall. As far as taking that breather, my head was filled with all the controversy, of course. But, yeah, we were able to take a day off of shows and do a little breather in that sense. But, yeah, I'm doing good otherwise.
Cal, how's it going, my man?
A lot better since we actually starting to move for real targets since yesterday. So yeah, feeling a lot better since Bruno actually is saying that he only wants Arsenal, which is what we'll get into
all of that. But before, of course, we do, make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribing. We want to push this out. By the way, I've actually made a decision that the FTC will finally have a social media presence. So I'll start putting together some Instagram, some TikTok, whatever. I'm still undeciding, but I will start to push that like crazy once I put that up. And on the shows, I'll be kind of like putting things out for you guys to go and follow the content, because we're going to do a lot of the stuff that we talk about here. We're going to put them into shorts. We're going to do a lot of graphic stuff. We're going to talk about some transfers, some breaking news, rumors, anything. We'll cover it all on the Instagram. Instagram for sure. That's a guarantee. Guys, let's just get it quickly out of the way because Arsenal actually made a signing. I don't know if there's much to analyze or discuss in terms of a backup goalkeeper from Leeds, so we're going to keep this as brief. I'm sure that many of people won't have an opinion on him as a player, but the signing in theory, of course, I think a lot of people got upset. Classic Arsenal, by the way. For some reason, and like it's happened last year too, Arsenal like to gaslight the fan base a day before doing something awesome. It's and we never see that pattern ever. We always take the bait every time. For me, I'm like, you know what?
Well, the thing is, they could have.
There's something like, this why do we get a goalkeeper for free? That's like that was like my thinking. You know what I mean? And a day later, you see. So let's bring that up onto the screen now. Of course, Ilan Meslier to Arsenal. Here we go. This is the least inspiring "here we go" I've ever seen at Arsenal Football Club. I challenge any of you guys in the chat.
75K likes, that's a lot.
What for?
I mean, I remember signing him.
That's nothing. You got millions and millions of likes on the other players, like some unreal substantial. For us mortals, that's a lot of likes, but for Fabrizio Romano, that's like a quiet day. Like, hello guys, you gonna like my post or what?
Okay, I'm gonna say something right now. Our backup goalkeeper, I don't think we've ever had a good one. They're all crap. I remember Neto, like he
Aaron
played one
Ramsdale.
game.
How do you remember Neto? He didn't play.
He did. He played one Carabao Cup
against
game.
Girona. He played against Girona.
And it was so bad that we never played him again. No, he was cup tied for the Carabao Cup, so he could only play.
He played against Girona.
Yeah. And
in the last game of the Champions League.
Yeah, we just never played him again. Because he was that terrible. Kepa, flatters to deceive, literally cost us the final in the Carabao Cup. And the very next day, the very next time we played in the Cup, we got knocked out because of him as well. So, man, like, I just hope there's a rumor going around that he's actually third choice and that, we're actually, Kepa's going to move on and we're going to get someone for Kepa. Whoever we get with this goalkeeper situation, there's always a goalkeeper situation. I just don't, whoever we get, I don't want it to be like a Kepa where we're promising them to play finals in the cups and stuff. Like, I don't care. If we get to a final,
he has to have learned that lesson. Come on.
If we get to a final, we are going to play the best keeper in the world, David Raya, and we are going to win that cup.
But see, that's a benefit. Like, for me, I don't think that Arteta looks at Ilan Meslier and goes, I'm riding and dying with him in the cup final. I don't think so. I really don't.
The double-edged sword is that if Raya goes down for any period of time, we're cooked.
Look, that was a case. That's been a case for. To be honest, I don't think Raya has ever, since he joined Arsenal, had any inkling of.
Yeah, I know, but just because it never happened doesn't mean.
And I think it's part of the advantage, by the way, is the fact that he actually had. I know I complain about it all the time. These two always hearing me complain about how he doesn't start for Spain, but there's actually the silver lining of that, which is like he's getting the summer off.
Same as Zubimendi.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of big for Zubi.
Yeah, to be honest, he needed it. It benefits Arsenal. Like, it does get annoying because I feel like they're being disrespected by not getting the playing time. And whenever a player doesn't get playing time like that, I'm like, is it because the manager doesn't rate him? How does the manager not rate him? Like,
the only player I actually actively want to do well in international competitions for Arsenal, like most of them I really don't get. Like even Saliba, I don't really care if he performs or not for France. The only player I really, really want to do well is Saka because of what he went through in the English international team. Like, because it's kind of because it was such a part of his coming to age. He's like one of the only players where I like, okay, Saka, I really want you to perform just to prove everyone wrong. But for everyone else, like, I've been pissing Anton off because I've been telling him.
You've definitely been pissing me off, by the way.
I've been telling him I wanted England to come home, and I've been rooting against England every single step of the way just so Arsenal fans could come home.
Yeah, both of you guys argued me why England won't win the World Cup, and I'm just thinking like,
dude,
different. I did not. You know what? Let's not go down this route. We're gonna make this show 3 hours long, and I see that, and I'm not gonna let it happen this time.
He gets pretty mad.
Y'all are welcome. Y'all are welcome on my show later to talk about that if you want.
Yeah, exactly. Just to do a plug on Jake's channel on the Cup Chasers that will have you're just doing a preview of the quarterfinals. Yeah, that's basically.
Well, we're going to discuss what happened on Tuesday, and then we'll discuss what's today, whatever game is today. France, Morocco, I think.
You know, I'm down for an argument. I like that. I like that. Our debate like that. To be honest, I've been spewing on that as well myself. But then Arsenal came in the news, so I kind of just got over it, and I was like, all right, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Arsenal. Yeah. So look, my view on Meslier, and look. My initial reaction was that of everybody, and Cal knows that because I messaged him. I was literally like, Ilan, where was I right? Like Ilan Meslier, what the fuck? I think that's what I wrote.
Yeah.
I thought about it for a while throughout the day. I don't see the to be honest, I was trying to watch a few videos. It's very hard to gauge a goalkeeper until you really watch him play.
Wow, like, you're dedicated.
Everyone, dude, of course, man.
You're watching a goalkeeper comp for Leslie.
Yeah, but then you see him and like, if I do comps on goalkeepers, you can make every goalkeeper look amazing because they've all made good saves at some point through their career. You can clip him up and make a goalkeeper look decent. Oh, Meslier, it looks good. I mean, like, until I see with the ball at his feet, how he plays in our team, certain moments, how he deals with the pressure of playing for us in certain games, if he's thrown in there, like, you just don't know. So, but the way I look at it is, hey, by the way, we don't know if Kepa is going. I think the part about the Kepa thing, first of all, Setford's going to be going on loan, so that's
what
Kepa thing
people
is,
say.
Can Kepa
He's
find
a choice because
Kepa
Setford's
wants to
going
be number one choice somewhere. The challenge is for Kepa. I think it's on him to find a club who sees him as a potential first choice, who would be willing to make him the first choice and pay for him to come to their club. So there's a bunch of different like things that Kepa needs to overcome to be able to leave the club. So there's also a high likelihood, I reckon it's about 50-50. There's a likelihood that he stays and Meslier is your third and they just send Setford out on loan, which I believe Setford is a player who's got high potential and he needs a loan. And I think there's actually probably more clubs out there that'd be more willing to take a punt on a Setford as your number one than a Kepa.
Setford's going to get a loan easy. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kepa already is kind of like has been. Like, who's
with
really
the clubs that are linked to him, though, Setford's not going to go to like Juventus and be the starter or Napoli and be the starter, which is what Kepa wants to do.
Emi Martinez is who's linked with Juventus. Are they taking Emi Martinez? Or are they taking Kepa? Let's be honest.
Well, I hear that. Yeah.
Right. So he's not going there. He was another one I saw that they thought Kepa was. No, another Italian club. I think Napoli. It was like Inter, wasn't it? Or
well, according to what I've just typed in here, but Gemini doesn't necessarily get it all. But
I've also read in other reports, which is if Kepa were to go, then Arsenal would then search the market for another goalkeeper.
Like, we would.
That's closer to Kepa's level than Meslier.
Yeah,
like so.
This Meslier guy, it's
a nothing burger of a signing, but
he's going to help the boys in training. Fill up the water bottles, shine the shoes.
I mean, just look at him. Does he convince? Let's look at. I'm really but he doesn't really look like a world-beating goalkeeper to me. Like, I don't know. Like,
well, the only reason he doesn't look like that is because you don't know him. Like, you just don't know the guy. And he's
the other point to it though, which is we've made a signing on a free, so it doesn't affect any other. So let's say he is the number 2 keeper and Kepa's out, right? Oof. That still makes sense to me from the point of we've replaced our goalkeeper. We've done a business for free. So it almost doesn't count. It's like you got this for free. We could still make our 5 or 4 other signings. And it doesn't dip into those budgets.
You mean to be honest? Like,
honestly, this is what this show is for. Do I want you to lie?
It's probably gonna cost us 10 to 15 to get a backup goalkeeper max.
That's 10 to 15 is a lot in negotiations.
You're not telling me. Sorry, Anton, you're not going to tell me, the reason you couldn't get Barcola and Rodgers is because you spent 10 million on a goalkeeper.
It could absolutely be. What if they're quoting 105? Let's say we'd agreed upon 115, but can really only pay 105. Dude, you're like, oh fuck! I wish I didn't buy. Jan Sommer for
Anton,
10.
You do know that the numbers that we have is the budget that we have isn't like to max capacity of what we could spend. It's a projection of what the club feel comfortable with, and there have been reports that came out already that said that Arsenal are willing to go above and beyond for the right opportunity to get the right forward signings. So you can't tell me that. Like, I honestly believe the club would spend like 130 to 150 million if Julian Alvarez said that he wanted to join Arsenal, right? I 100% believe that. You can't tell me that was on the table and then, the reason you can't make this other signing is because you spent $10 million on a backup goalkeeper after you already made a sale of the backup goalkeeper, which would be because we would get money for Kepa.
By the way, we're not
like even if you get 5 million for Kepa and we spend 10 million on a backup goalkeeper, that's like 5 million. That's not going to affect our window.
Boys, I do have some news. It's not breaking news in terms of transfer stuff, but we do have a last minute guest who's going to come on and talk to us about his beloved captain. We're going to have Kane on, who's been on here before. He's gracious to come and give us a few minutes. We're going to be nice to him, right? But what he's going to come on here is going to tell us kind of And Ruki, I know we were talking about Bruno, what he can and can't do last week's show. So yeah, we want to talk about Bruno. So we might as well just get into the main event now that I got Kane and his time, as he's graciously given to us. I want to welcome onto the program someone who's been here before, a friend of the show, Newcastle's own Kane. How's it going, man?
I've had better days, guys. I've had better days.
Up the tunes.
What's up, man?
Up the tunes.
How are the lads?
We're good. We're good.
It's not a good.
So we might as well get into it, right?
Do we have to?
Look, we have to, but look. We're going to talk about how obviously the news. The news is the news, but really, what I want to have you on here today is that look, we were actually talking about the potential of him joining last week, and in comparison to some other profiles and how he would be versus, let's say, a Buadi or who are the other names we were saying, like an Alex Scott?
Alex Scott. Who else were we looking at? To be honest, it was mainly those three: Bruno G, Alex Scott, and Buadi seems to be the main three that we're looking at. Yeah, and Bruno G is clearly the best out of the three in terms of experience, in terms of versatility. Watching him play for Brazil, I've seen a side of him I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that he was that, I didn't know he could play like that, like almost like a pseudo 10 at times in terms of the moments he can give you. I knew that he had a good shot on him because we see him score for Newcastle a lot. I knew that like he's capable of back crossing. I knew that he's a good passer and stuff, but I didn't know he could. He's also really good in terms of with his feet, the way he played for Brazil. So, it's kind of mad.
So a few people in the chat, Ruki, which I'm happy to hear, who tell me certain things like Bruno's not really that great of a ball progressor or ball carrier, and I'm sort of, that doesn't really compute to me. Well, by the way, Ruki knows his ball, like he knows players up and down the world.
Ruki needs to get a mic and a camera.
He does need to get a mic and a camera. And he brings up some good points, and he articulates himself well. But I have someone here, Kane, who literally watches this man for how many years has he been at Newcastle at this point, Bruno?
4
years. 4 years of watching him play every single day. So there is nothing you're going to get past Kane in terms of evaluating this man as a player. Firstly, though, Kane, look away. Because I do have to kind of introduce. So this was what dropped yesterday from David Ornstein to Kane's chagrin. Bruno Guimaraes informs Newcastle United of his wish to leave and join Arsenal. AFC stepping up pursuit, ready to offer deal worth up to 60 million at present, but no club-to-club contact yet. Newcastle's stance is that he's not entertaining bids for the 28-year-old, and that has still been their stance the whole time, as Kane is going to hope will remain this stance. And I'm not going to. I know me and you have been going back and forth over this, also with Ash. Regardless of how will it happen, what we'll have to pay to happen. We can touch on that if you want, but I want to discuss Bruno as a player. What are his strengths? I know you don't want to see him in Arsenal, but what do you love about Bruno as a player? I would say, actually, I want to know what he's like, maybe as a personality, as also like kind of maybe because you watched a lot of Arsenal as well, like how you would see him sort of fitting into an Arsenal team and what he could contribute to Arsenal.
Ooh, listen, I suppose the best way I would describe Bruno, especially to, I guess, an Arsenal crowd, would be he is a less athletic but more technically gifted version of Declan Rice. He gives you. That's not to say he's like a slouch or anything. He's not blessed with pace, but he'll give you miles. Like he runs more than anyone I've seen, but he doesn't have that sort of glide like we had with a Tonali or like you guys have with Rice. But I still think with the ball at his feet, I don't think you have a better player at Arsenal, especially in that midfield. I think with his range of passing is impeccable. He has every pass that you would want. technically he's just phenomenal. It's the best way I could describe him. You've seen at the World Cup, he's able to go around players and then dink a ball, like not chip a ball, but like punch a ball through and break a defense open. He's our most creative player at Newcastle. And you see, like, I mean, his stats speak for himself, man. He's getting 15 GA regularly in the last 4 seasons from midfield in a team that doesn't really use the midfield in that sort of way. He progresses the ball really well, not necessarily running, but with his passing, he'll, like I said, he's got every pass in the book. And then you add on all the extra intangibles to it, especially if he puts his heart into it. You're going to get another leader on the pitch. You're going to get someone who demands excellence from everyone on and off the field, and someone who will die for the badge. Yeah, I can't really say anything more about that.
All right. So our resident scout in the chat has come up. He wants to share with you.
Sure.
So he's clarified, by the way, for us that his opinion is he's a great ball progressor, but not a great ball carrier. Would you agree
Correct.
with this assessment?
Yes and no. He's so predominantly with his passing, he's not going to like run 30 yards with the ball like you would see with a Declan Rice. But he can sort of ride challenges and often be fouled off the back of that, which will then in essence progress you up the pitch through set pieces, which I'm sure you'll all love. I'm joking, by the way. Don't worry, I don't actually have that feeling.
I know. I seen the Olympico. That's why I'm like, here you go. Although he missed a pen the other day for Brazil, I'm like, I don't know, man.
You shouldn't be taking pens. That was like,
Gyökeres will be taking pens for us anyway. Like, we'll be fine with that.
He never took penalties for Newcastle.
I don't know why. Like, I think okay, this is the problem, Bill. This is just a little segue, and this is why Gabriel took the pen for us in the Champions League finals. Like, personalities like Gabriel and Bruno and these guys, it's funny because they're both Brazilian, they will take responsibility if everyone else is cowards. They will die, for their club and country, and they will be the fall guy, and they will do that, even if they're not, the best qualified, which is, to be honest with you, I think that is a plus, to be honest. The fact that, he's not the best pen taker, but he goes out there and to take the pen and take responsibilities. Like, we need that at Arsenal. You want that at your football club. You want someone who's willing to take responsibility because everyone's too afraid to fail. I think that's a big thing in football. I think we see it. Certain people at even our football club that I will not name, I will not shame, but we all know who, hopefully we know who we're talking about, players who, shy from the occasion and don't necessarily take responsibility. In terms of, I want men in the squad. Bruno's of that age, and that's just a plus for me. So
yeah. So this is what. So Ruki goes on to say, since we have a new person here, I'll state my problem with Bruno again, so he can have the clarity.
Sure.
So Kane, Arsenal in possession play 3-1-6 shape, with one DM in the back three and the other in midfield as a single pivot. When we progress the ball, that single pivot will be against immense pressure. Bruno's average ball carrying simply makes that a prop. So Ruki is not very pro Bruno.
I might push back on that.
How many ball carriers do we need? We actually have a lot of ball carriers.
Bruno's going to be in Zubi's position. So he'll be the one in the back three. He won't be the guy under pressure in the middle. That'll be Declan Rice, as it always has been. Zubimendi is the one that's been in the middle of the back three more often, and Rice has been farther forward. I expect Bruno, if he does come, to be like split time with Zubimendi, and that's where he'll play.
I do agree with you on that,
back, right,
Jake? Like, in terms of like how eventually it will be, but I think Ruki's coming from a point of view of Declan Rice is going to be out from the beginning at the start.
I see what you're saying.
Which
that'll change things for sure.
Because you'd essentially be playing Declan Rice as an 8 to get the best out of Bruno as a less mobile 6 with better, because he can't carry the ball. But David Calhoun Club, nothing but the wins forever. Hey, how does it feel to not sign Chouameni, you absolute fraud. Hold that.
But wait, you're coming after him for the wrong thing. What about Portugal losing to our boy Mikel Merino?
Oh, no,
he hates.
Dude,
I thought of you, David. I'm like, an Arsenal player ended your boy's international career. It is beautiful. Couldn't have written it better myself.
I've already said what I needed to say. I joined his live to make fun of him. So I've already said what I needed to say.
I thought of David right away when it was Marino who scored. Like,
big ups to
David
you, David
would be spewing right now. Cal showed up in my chat room.
There it is. There it is.
I'm shameless. As soon as I saw that notification, I was like, no.
To be honest, Cal and I have been hate watching your country throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, I've been hate watching. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you, David. I was hate watching Portugal from the start. Argentina is on the top of my hit list now. Like it's
same. All right, so we're gonna get way too sidetracked, and I want to take advantage of Kane's time as much as we possibly can. Kane, what would you feel? What do you think that Bruno would excel as a 6, or you reckon he's better off playing as an 8 in general?
My general opinion is an 8. He can play 6. He played 6 for us for a bit before Sandro came. In fact, I think the first season Sandro joined us. Sandro played 8, Bruno played 6, and then we swapped them. And I think that was to get the most out of Bruno. And I think you saw that. I think in order to get, I mean, you see it at the World Cup, and I see it every time at Newcastle. The higher up Bruno is, the more effective he's going to be because. Like I said, he's got that ability to play that long ball for like a Gyökeres running in behind, but then he also has that ability where he can make those intricate passes with your wingers to break defenses from the. Because for us, what we would normally do is he would pass out wide, we progress the ball down the wings, and then with our pace, and then he would join the attack and sit on the edge of the box and just sort of play those intricate 1-2s, those triangles. Put the ball into the box, maybe even cross it from those half spaces into the box, and that's or just take a shot. As you said, he's still got an incredible shot on him. So that's where I think you'll have the most benefit from him. For me, the way I would play it would be Declan in the 6 to sort of hoover up everything, progress the ball forward if needs be, and then you sort of have this sort of floating 6-8 sort of situation soup that we did, where if one, like, these guys aren't idiots, if they see one go, one will sit. So it's not like defined rules like, okay, once we get the ball, we're all gonna sort of like pass it to Declan and then Declan runs forward. Like, that's just nonsense. Arsenal are much smarter than that. You will have what Bruno and Declan will give you is multiple avenues in which you can attack a team on the counter. You can either, like I said, falls to Bruno, he plays it long to Gyökeres or to one of your wingers and you counterattack that way. Or he plays it into Declan and then Declan just carries the ball forward. Like, that will be how that works for me. So this idea of 6-8, I would sort of, especially if you get him, you'll have 2 players that can play both 6 and 8. So this idea of one being set, I think it will be a nonsense, and you'll just have a sort of fluid, okay, when one goes, one stays. But to get the most out of Bruno, you want him higher up the pitch.
I to be honest, that's exactly how I would.
I would love that, actually. I would love Rice to be deeper than him. I would love that.
At the same time, King brings up a lot of good points. I feel like the way you were describing Bruno's play as an 8 is exactly what Arsenal actually need right now from that position. Like, as great as Declan Rice is, and by the way, you are right. Like, it's not set in stone. They can switch it around, and they're very smart. But if you were going to set them, Declan Rice is very comfortable tucking into the back 4. Where Bruno, his abilities and his passing abilities can kind of break lines and give us the opportunities that I don't know if we're really creating last year. And if I'm honest, with the double pivot that we had, we weren't breaking enough lines. I actually thought Zubimendi would do a lot more of that than he actually did. And from what I have seen of Bruno, I think he excels in that better than most players in the Premier League for sure. So I agree with that.
First half, Zubimendi was so much better than the second half. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, look,
but you're right. Got tired, man. You just got gassed, and that's why I think this is awesome, because they can split time.
Yeah, it's just too many games.
And make sure that no one gets too many games. I think that's why this would be an amazing signing. But Kane, do you mind if I ask you about Bruno's motivations? Because the situation at Newcastle, obviously, it was a difficult season being in the Champions League and trying to juggle both of them. And you ended up, finishing well below where I think this Newcastle team should be finishing. And do you think that kind of, Bruno kind of reads the writing on the wall and it's like, okay, we're kind of going in the wrong direction as a club. And he's like, maybe it's time to leave. Do you think that had anything to do with him coming out and saying, oh, I want to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say a direction because this is the part of the disappointment I have is this is one bad season. If you look at our other finishes, it was what 4th, 8th, 5th. So we were never really. I mean, we missed out on Europe last time because Man United won the FA Cup against Man City. Otherwise, we'd have been in 3 consecutive European competitions, 2 of which were Champions Leagues. And yeah, I think this was just a bad year. I think, and which is disappointing that it's the first time we've had a bad year, and now all the players who think they deserve Champions League but didn't get it now think they should leave to get Champions League. It's that weird, awful cycle.
To be honest, we've been there. Like honestly, we.
To be honest with you, Bruno is the one that probably deserves it the most, but he's the one that's there last, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think Anthony Gordon definitely didn't deserve it based on any of his output. Watching him last season. I don't care what the situation was. I don't think he played well enough. So you know what I mean? And the thing about Bruno, what makes Bruno different, I don't know if this makes you feel any different about it, is the fact that Bruno, like, he's actually an older player. It's not like he can like thug it out. Like he has like one more opportunity left. He's not getting any younger. He just got spanked out of the World Cup. So he's coming home and he's looking at his career and he's realized, I haven't won anything major in my entire career. What am I going to do next? And, he sees all his teammates leave and it's like, okay, it's either I leave or I thug it out with Newcastle, because I don't think, first of all, and I said this when I was still in the group chat, I said, and I don't know why Ash didn't agree with me, I said, if these players are so good, Eddie Howe had to be sacked. Because looking at the team, looking at the quality of the team, what he was doing with Newcastle is completely unacceptable. There's no way that you guys should have been that low on the table with the quality of the midfield and the attack and defenders. I thought Walter was a really good signing. Like, you caught life after losing Isaac, because I thought he was good enough. So like for me, I think this is failure on the part of Eddie Howe, and I also think Newcastle got pretty unlucky with last summer with all the players that you went after. That if you actually got them, your season would have been completely different. You probably would have finished five spots higher in the league. So I think it's unluckiness, and also I think Eddie Howe's a fraud.
That's
fair enough. That's.
I mean, why persist playing Voltamata at the center attacking mid? That's baffling.
Okay, so let me address a few of these points then, I guess.
We did throw a bunch at you. Sorry.
It's fine. Sorry, it's fine. I've kept track. Eddie Howe's a fraud. We'll start with that one. Potentially. Potentially.
Not that he was always like that. I think he became one.
Okay, interesting. Sure. If you can, I would say he made mistakes. I would also caveat with I sympathize with him in that we also had a lot of injuries last year. I can't remember I know Arteta got slammed quite a bit for having injuries at Arsenal, but I think I don't know if it was going unnoticed, but I think Newcastle were just below you or more than you in terms of injuries. I think we had beginning the season Lewis Hall out, then after the Arsenal game that early in St James's, we lost Tino. So, and I don't think in between that we also had Sven out. So I think for the entirety of last year, we probably had our starting defense starting 4 games together of the whole season. As well as that, we then had Bruno out for about a month or so, and I've waxed lyrical about how influential he is to us. You then add on to that we didn't really have a striker for the first month, and so yeah, I sympathise with him there. Did he make mistakes? Yes. I guess we'll then pivot then to the Voltemada comment. Why was he played as a cam or as an 8? I think what we're finding with Voltemada, which we kind of already knew beforehand, I think we were fortunate when he first joined, is that he's much better as that second striker. The closest I could give you as a record is a Kai Havertz. Like, as you guys will all know, as an out and out 9, Kai Havertz isn't the best. But but when you see the best of him, you see him playing off other players, like when Victor comes in. Not as like a 10 or anything, but like as that sort of second striker, quote unquote.
Okay.
And I think we see the same with Nick, which is why, and Newcastle's just not set up for that. We are very much we have a number 9 who leads the line, as you saw with Isak. I mean, we were blessed to have Isak who could do both, but the fact that Isak could lead a line, make runs in behind, get on the end of things, get on crosses and stuff like that. Even though he's 6'6", he's not the greatest in the air, or at least his positioning is not great for when it comes to crossing, and his anticipation of crosses isn't great. And so yeah, it was how do we fit him into our system, which at first, like I said, when he was playing as that lone 9, I think we were getting away with he was just doing his thing and he pop up with a goal, and then you saw that sort of dried up a bit. I think teams started to figure him out better, and so we dropped him deeper to get him on the pitch, because he does have good technical ability. He can progress a ball. I think the way we would want to use him is the same as like a Bobby Firmino. I guess this is probably where you would also assume Kai Havertz would play, like that sort of Bobby Firmino role where your wingers would be then the attackers. But unfortunately for us, our wingers, in fact, none of our wingers were ever good enough to really be consistent. I would argue that Harvey Barnes probably did an okay enough job, but he never really got the amount of game time he needed to really get the numbers that would have benefited us. And so yeah, I think but by the end he was actually getting pushed up further, and he was playing as that number 10 / second striker with Willisula up front, and then we just had a sort of double pivot of Bruno and Sandro when he played, and then sort of Jacob Ramsey on the left, who would also fill in as like a floating 8. And we started to see some green shoots there. So that's the Voltemada sort of situation, I think, covered. Where we see him moving forward, I don't know. That's the task for Eddie Howe. He needs to reorganize, reimagine what this attack is going to look like, and then we go from there. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember what the other point was. Yeah, I think the injuries also played a point. Like the injuries played a part in how low we finished. If I looked back at the results, I think we had 27 points dropped from winning positions. Most of those goals coming from in the last 80 to 90 minutes, which to me means the guys were just tired, and we ended up. And then looking back at the goals, like the one that stands out to me were like the Spurs game, where it's like the fucking overhead kick from Romero, where it just looks like everyone stopped still. He then walks 3 yards, does an overhead kick, and it just rolls in the back of the net, and everyone's just looking at it like, and it's just, you get nonsense goals, I call them, because I mean it's just like stupid errors, individual errors that lead to goals. And the gap between 12th and I think 8th wasn't actually that big. I think it was like 4 or 5 points. So even if we had, I think it was
great. The shout about a couple games ago of making it into Europe for sure. So
yeah, I mean, I said I think the funny thing, this is how close it was in the league. I think if you took the 27 points that we lost from winning positions and we actually accrued those, we would be second or something like that, or third. And then if we even got half of those, we would be fifth or something, fifth or sixth or something like that. So I think we were just on the wrong end of fine margins a lot of the time.
Oh, you guys are pulling the fine margins thing now.
I don't think we
argue in the fan base. This is like an Arsenal argue in the fan base thing. With fine margins.
Oh yeah,
because Arteta uses the word fine margins. We've had a lot of arguments with that word, so it's like a little sour spot for us.
Oh, okay. I mean, listen, there's elements of it. I mean, for me, I think the fact that you didn't get any red cards last year, I thought, you were close to it in certain games, and I think that would have been fine.
Kai Havertz should have been sent off Burnley for sure.
Gabriel,
you know what's a really funny thing about that stat, by the way, just to clear it up, everyone watching, pay attention. City didn't receive a single red card this season either. By the way, Manchester City. By the way, we didn't concede any pens, and people say, that's we bought the league. City conceded 1 pen.
The only pen we conceded the whole year was in the Champions League final.
Between Manchester City and Arsenal was 1 penalty.
Fine margin.
And people are so upset. No one's saying VAR cheats Manchester City. The ones who actually have like a court case. But for us, it's like,
Yeah. I've got some just getting into the chat. We're going back to a little bit to what Ruki was kind of saying earlier. He's got a few things. He's brought up a bit of an analogy with Zubimendi. Kane, sure. I'm not saying Bruno isn't a good player. He's reassuring you. In fact, I think he's world class. His ball progression is exceptional for a DM, but in our system, unless we return to a 4-3-3 setup, I simply don't see it. But by the way, I could easily, if you have Rice and Bruno, that you can move into a 4-3-3 setup, especially if, and Cal, close your ears, especially if we're unable to, let's say, acquire another 10 and Martin Odegaard is sort of your other, I would call him right 8, then 4-3-3 suits Arsenal to the ground if that was your midfield 3. I know you'd say ugh, but I'm just using hypothetical situations. And another thing, Kane, you are right. He isn't as great as a 6, and that brings me to his bad out of possession mentality and output. As you state, he does not run a lot, but his tackling at best is average.
I would say his tackling's better than average.
Against us, it was always tough playing Bruno.
Yeah.
I don't know unless he just doesn't play like that against everyone else.
Look. Yeah, maybe we're just judging him off of when we played us.
No. His tackling is good. It's just he's not gonna. His side to side running, I guess, to use an NFL analogy, his side to side work rate isn't as high as a Declan Rice.
But Declan Rice is like probably one of the best in the world at that. So
yeah, I know.
I feel like we need to kind of stop doing that because Declan Rice's engine. There's like not many players with that engine.
At the end of the day, we have Declan Rice. He's not going anywhere. You're bringing a player to complement him.
Does Caicedo have that engine? I don't think Caicedo gets as forward as Rice either. So I don't even think Caicedo has.
The amount of red cards that Caicedo.
Caicedo. If you want to talk rash,
I wouldn't say he's an excellent tackler either. But.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't worry about his sort of rashness. I don't think he's ever picked up a red card. Maybe once, but I think that would.
He will pick up a red card against us at least one next season. I guarantee it.
But I mean, listen, it'll be a game by game situation. I think there are going to be games where you could probably still play a Zubimendi and a Bruno together, and just in games where you see like. You having a lot of possession and not having to worry about the counter-attack, or you might just end up seeing like Hincapie might play in the back and like you don't really need the engine from the midfield. You've got your defenders to cover the counter-attacks. And so listen,
I think Bruno would work a lot better if we do end up signing like a Barcola. So even if the midfield doesn't have that, the running that a Declan Rice provides, we could at least bypass the midfield, and Bruno has enough creativity to spray to the wings and let the wingers be the most creative players on the pitch, which is something that would work. But I don't.
Is there news, Kane? I saw Fabrizio said something about a month ago, but a week ago.
Newcastle have a full agreement over the transfer of Johan Manzambi.
Ooh, that's a good signing.
From who? That's a big
Switzerland.
One.
From Switzerland.
From Freiburg. The Swiss
he plays for Freiburg. Yeah. That's a great signing.
Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
If y'all get that over the line, I think that's a very good signing.
The man zombie is headed to the tune. There you go.
Yeah.
That's my new nickname for him, because he's
Man
zombie.
No, that's going to be all season long for sure. Man zombie. Yep.
I see what you did there. Maybe that will be a song. It'll be something about a bit of cranberries. It'll be interesting. Wow.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Well, we had Kane here. Yeah, big, massive news. Yeah, wow. To be honest, I think he's gonna be a great addition to Newcastle.
Well, it'll definitely help, especially if Bruno leaves. It'll definitely help fill the void.
I've been very impressed with him at this World Cup. He's been.
What's the deal with Traore?
I think he's got the most
Traore as well.
He's got the most.
Yeah, that's done. That
the
got
Traore
announced.
Deal's already done. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that got announced.
I think Newcastle's transfer strategy this season has been a lot better. They're not going after the targets that Arsenal and Liverpool and everyone else is going after. I think last season,
to be honest, that's smart. Yeah.
If this was last season Newcastle, they would have put the bid in for freaking Diamande or something. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like they're just wasting time. Like, don't do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't try to.
They're in the
don't
Champions
go for
League last year. To be fair, though, Cal,
PSG's going for Akliouche.
they were in the correct European competition to be able to have the license to go for players of that. Like, to be honest, I had no issue with them going for those type of players. In fact, I feel like more of some of the teams of the Aston Villas of this world, I've seen them pull off deals as well, where you're like, oh, they got him. Like
the thing with Newcastle is that if they wanted to do that, they needed to do what Spurs did this season.
Yeah,
overspend.
Unfortunately, they can't buy Tonali, can they? Because they had him already.
No. As in like no. As in like what Spurs did this season, which was really good strategy, is they spend over the odds and they got the job done quickly.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a good. I don't know if in the long run it will be a good strategy though. It might look good now in 9th of July 2026.
They literally were one game away from relegation. I guarantee you, Tonali and Fernandes is going to help them not be relegated next season. That's a guarantee. Because if they got relegated, it would literally almost like be the end. Like,
so twofold there. One, we can't do what Spurs do. Unfortunately, the rules don't allow us to do that. Whether we agree with the rules or not, I'm sure you guys do, but that's fine. So that's one. Let's park that conversation, I guess, because that'll just hurt my soul even further. The Spurs project, I think, lives and dies by Roberto De Zerbi, and if I was a Spurs fan, I would not be comfortable with that situation. I think a lot of these players, you're right, should improve. I mean, you would think they would improve them, but then I feel like we did this whole song and dance last year. With you,
I'm at the point. I'm sorry, Kane. I'm at the point where I just cannot believe you can have all these players and still get relegated. Because if they get worse, it is like guaranteed relegation. Like to get relegated from this point, you would have to be the worst club pound for pound in the history of the Prem, pound for pound. Because clubs get relegated all the time. To spend this much money, get that much quality, and still get relegated, pound for pound, that would be you are the worst.
Or Eddie Howe just reveals himself as the fraud, we started.
No, I'm talking about Spurs. I'm talking about Spurs.
Yeah, I missed that bit. My fault. Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? So,
looking at Spurs, like what they bought last year, it wasn't like they got Xavi Simons, João Paulinho. Obviously now he's just now left, but he was on a loan, which was a good pickup. Kudos.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
got Kudus.
Kevin
Then again,
Danzo,
Kudus got
Kolo
like a
Muani, they got on deadline day. Like,
But let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest, guys. When has Spurs spent
it wasn't
a
like
whole bunch
they
of money
bought
and like
scrubs.
really improved? Like, remember when they sold Bale and they bought like 9 guys and we still beat them? Arsenal didn't sign anybody that summer, and we beat them 1-0.
That's the problem. They
beat them 1-0 in the second game of the season after they bought 9 people.
Right,
when have Spurs inspired after buying a bunch of players?
But that's the thing is usually Spurs just buy a bunch of guys, but this time they're actually buying like quality. I think if Manchester United signed Tonali and Fernandes, I don't think we'd be
they wanted to. That's the crazy part about it.
Yes, they overspent, but I think that it's worth the risk.
So this is an interesting one because. Just to kind of pivot back to Bruno for a second. Not that
we can go over it.
Ever
we
on
can go over
the
Bruno
So he says Zubimendi lesson is one that you guys should learn with Bruno. But to be honest, I don't think that we've seen the end of Zubimendi. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I do.
I think Zubimendi was a success.
Cal, if Arteta tinkers with the midfield for Bruno, that might be good for people like Odegaard, but overall disastrous. I say the last time, Cal, this new system 4-2-3-1. We 3-1-6 shape. We have only scratched the surface, and we delve more deeper, which I think he will do. He will reach another level. Bruno, great ball progressor, but average ball carrier, great player. But in our system, if he is the single pivot, he lacks a lot to make me impress, and I see a rinse and repeat of Zubimendi. Zubimendi I watched for 3 seasons at Sociedad, had different midfield combinations. Marino earlier on with Braze Mendes later with Sucic. He was a great ball progressor and the system relied on him to do so, just like Bruno with Newcastle. And when Zubimendi came in, I haven't seen the same player. I think it's a legit concern.
Don't you think that having all 3 of them, especially if Marino is fit as well, and Bruno and Zubimendi and Rice all in there, they'll be able to split the time and we won't see them flag like Zubimendi did. I think Zubi had a great first half of the season and then just started to flag. And so if he is able to have the rest
running, to be honest, like we were coming on here and we were saying that he was potentially signing at the season like low key just because of
at one point it looked like it
played. But I think he just normally people ramp up when they join the Prem. He ramped it down. So he played at the correct intensity.
It's like Gyökeres and Zubi went into opposite directions. Yeah. Like Gyökeres started off really, really poor and got better as the season went on. Zubimendi started out amazing and then got poor as the season. It's like they just crossed and they were good together in the middle around January, December.
Bruno being like just Prem proven. I think that come on. I think
but one of the other issues, though,
see him coming in our midfield on it.
One of the other issues with all the players that we signed last year, talk about Eze, talk about Zubimendi, is they were not used to playing the amount of games that Arsenal. We played 60 plus games last year. Like while Newcastle didn't play 60, Newcastle were in the Champions League, made it to the knockout rounds of the Champions League. Newcastle played in the Carabao Cup, made it to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. You made it to the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. So you guys, Newcastle played a lot more closer to the amount of games Arsenal did than Real Sociedad would have or Crystal Palace would have. So I actually don't think there'll be any sort of those issues with Bruno.
By the way, it's not like we're bringing Bruno and getting rid of Zubimendi. He's going to be splitting the time with Zubi. He's going to be splitting the time with MLS. MLS is going to get even more minutes because he's more trusted now. Because we didn't start off the season with him playing in the midfield. That was something that we kind of Arteta finally pushed the button and was like, "Oh my God, you are like the best young midfielder prospect in the Prem." So
Bruno would probably be deeper. Bruno would probably be deeper than MLS.
Every club thinks
it's to be honest, it's like Elliot Anderson, but or Adam Wharton.
Everyone thinks that they're like, you think it's Lewis Miley, United thinks it's Mainu. Everyone loves their guys. Everyone loves their guys.
But I love Lewis Smiley, man.
You're gonna have to love him now because it looks like he's gonna be a guy.
Get some minutes. He's
gonna be your midfield rock. So
He's had plenty of minutes already, guys. This is what you don't understand. This kid's already had 3 seasons, 2 years in the Champions League. Because that year we were in the Champions League, we had everyone injured, and he had to play big minutes at 16, 17.
Well, there you go.
And he, so.
But to be honest, the sport is a funny thing, though, Kane. Like you may be absolutely correct, right? But you may be absolutely.
Locked him up. Get out of here with that Barcola bullshit. We'll put Lewis Miley out there. Don't you worry. He'll sort him out again.
No, but I actually like. I think maybe we'll. To be honest, I want to get a little bit into the discussion of if it will or won't happen, and kind of what will have to happen for it to get big. Because we got both sides of the situation, that we can balance each other out. We're not just like talking from one side of the spectrum without getting rebutted. Sure. You know, I mean, sometimes we keep each other honest here.
Sure.
Hey, Anton, before we get into that, man, I'm going to have to sign off.
All good. Yeah, we got a show coming on. So
big up, guys. Good, big up, Kane. Yep.
Big ups.
Later.
Always good.
All right, man.
Also, guys in the chat, please, big ups to Kane for not being super emotional and angry.
To be honest, big ups to me for not triggering Kane, because honestly, big ups to Kane. I've literally been a bit of a bully in the group. See, I'll admit it, Kane, right? In the group chat over the last how many times are we going back and forth with this? 2-3 weeks. It's like a 1 to 2 hour period where me and Kane and Ash are like arguing about this deal. Like, so it's actually good to actually voice it with my mouth rather than with my fingers. So we might as well get into it. Now we got Cal in here, so I'm actually going to kind of try to stay. I've said to Kane all my point of view on this. I think you know every angle I've come at it. You haven't spoken to Cal on this. I'm going to let you guys kind of go back and forth. So I'm just kind of going to go through. Obviously, the public stance in Newcastle has been that the player is not for sale, right? And and I believe that it's going to continue to be the stance up until it happens, basically, right? Because it's going to involve Arsenal shelling up the money that you guys are happy with, but both sides are happy to pay, and then the deal would just happen. But up until then, I believe that your stance will always be he's not for sale. Obviously, the big part of this is Bruno going to make any form of push or indication of his desire to leave Newcastle? Because obviously making that clear would state, hey, maybe I'm probably not ready to sign a new contract. You never know. The news changes. It could change every day. All of a sudden, be like, hey, Bruno and Newcastle have agreed upon a new contract extension. The whole deal goes away. So I wouldn't even rule it out just because I don't want to do so, even though
I'll rule that out.
I would hate that.
To be honest, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah. Okay. I'm being a bit of a politician.
I think
I'm trying my best. Kane's like, Anton, you know what? You say what you really think.
Because Bruno said it this early. This is okay. This is my thing. Okay. I think Bruno didn't have to go out and say, I want Arsenal. Like he didn't have to say it this early as well. Because I feel like the window isn't like that early. He just came back from Brazil. He didn't need to go out and just go public with this immediately. It's not like we put in a third bid and then we agreed to walk away from the deal and then Bruno's like last minute trying to. I think the fact that he's said it this early kind of sets the tone for the rest of the negotiations. Like, yeah, dude, I really want to leave and I want to go to Arsenal specifically. So I don't think Bruno's gonna just accept a deal. I just can't see that happening. From a negotiation standpoint, it just doesn't make any sense. If I feel like Bruno wanted to just negotiate a better contract, he would have used different tactics. He would have been a bit more coy. He would have played with it. He would have let it dragged out, But he kind of just instantly. He said it this quickly because he's trying to get on the front foot, and he wants a deal to get done. To
be honest, for the little black backgrounds in the corner on the StreamYard, it works better. I didn't like the look of it. I was trying to fix it in the background, I just couldn't. Anyway, Kane, what's your response to kind of what? Because I've brought up this point with you as well, like the fact that he has come out and he has stated, look, Ornstein says it in the report that he stated that he's. I'm going to read it for word so I don't get it wrong. He informs Newcastle of his wish to leave and join Arsenal.
Which source are you using for that one? Is that the Ornstein one?
The Orn bomb.
The Bomba.
The Bomba.
I trust Ornstein more than Fab. So
to be honest, yeah, and Ken,
like
I actually listened a little bit. I was listening to the Fabrizio section where he was saying this morning, so you pointed me in that direction. So it's kind of I've actually listened to just a lot of different people and what they think about it and different opinions on it. And to be honest, I think most people are starting to think that the deal is going to head in a direction where it more than likely at this point on the 9th of July that it's more than likely that it ends up in him being at Arsenal. But there's also very good a possibility that if Arsenal and Newcastle don't agree on the valuation, he'll just stay there because.
Oh yeah, I think
that is still a possibility. Yeah. If Arsenal go, hey, you know what, we're not willing to go that far, then they'll just walk away.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I am with it at this point now. I recognize he said he wanted to go. I think also it's worth recognizing in the same brief that he said he wasn't going to push and that he would leave it up to the clubs to decide. Now, that only holds to a certain point. But we don't know that, I guess, until because that's in the future thing, right? So if it comes, or I imagine what will happen is Newcastle will say he's not for sale still, because we're going to have a valuation much higher than what's been quoted so far. I think when they were floating the 55-65 thing, that I think that was that was before Tonali was sold, and I think that was just sort of a testing the waters kind of thing, like, hey, is this possible? And I think Newcastle before this Tonali sale were under a financial obligation to sell someone. And 65 million would have been a pure profit because I think all of his amortization is gone now. So that would have been 65 pure profit for us. And I think that would have been seriously listened to. I think now that the Tonali deal's gone through, there is no financial obligation to sell, regardless of what some of the Arsenal and I think it was Magic Heart or someone on X that I've seen saying that even though we've sold Tonali and Gordon, we still have to sell Bruno, otherwise we fail.
That I don't. But I don't believe that. Sounds like bullshit.
I don't believe that either.
I don't believe that for a second.
I've done the. I see.
I think there's stuff from both sides that people are just talking a lot of.
Yeah,
crap,
there's certain
you know
there's certain Arsenal sources I don't even.
Yeah. So I don't believe there's a 65 million release clause. Otherwise, why would Arsenal go through this whole song and dance? They would have just activated, got the deal done, and moved on. So for me, I don't believe that's got any value. I do know multiple sources have both claimed and verified that there is a 2+1 extension on his deal. So for the purposes of a sale, that's 3 years. You're getting a player in his prime. Yes, 28 sounds old, 29, but he's in his prime. And I understand Newcastle will want to honor Bruno's wishes in saying that he wants to leave, and I think that will bring us to the table. But the fact he said, I'm willing to let the clubs figure it out in the same way that we've seen with Mateus Fernandes and with Sandro Tonali. Although he never publicly came out and said, I want the clubs to do their thing, he also made sure that we got seen to as well. And I think that plays in our favour. Now, whatever number Newcastle come with, I don't know. For me, like I said, like I said to Terry yesterday, anywhere between 80 and 90, I think would take serious consideration from Newcastle. And I don't think we would ask for it on the drip either. That would be a lot of it up front because we're in the position to ask for that. Yeah. Now, then it's on both Arsenal and Bruno. It's on Arsenal to pay the money. Like, as you guys said, are they willing to pay that much money? You may disagree on what your personal number is, and Arsenal will have a number that they're probably willing to go up to, because again, you guys have other places in the market that you want, and just in general how you guys value Bruno, whether you value at that money, which is Arsenal's gift in that sense. And then, like I said, it's also on Bruno. If Bruno sees that we're trying to charge 120, he might turn around and go, like, that's too much. Let's be realistic. He may even say that 90, like, that's too much. Let's be realistic. But he might also say 90 seems like a fair deal. And if Newcastle and Bruno come to an agreement and say, hey, we want to honor your wishes. This is our number. You go to Arsenal and you say, if you match that number, you can come. and then we go from there, then we get the deal done. Otherwise, like that's where I see it. But I think Newcastle might want to try and drag this out as much as possible to get as much, like we just saw the Manzambi deal as a thing. The more Newcastle are seen to buy and improve the project that they can sell to Bruno, I think that also strengthens Newcastle's position. It's in Arsenal's best interest to get this deal done as quick as possible. I can see both scenarios, to be honest, and that's kind of where I am with that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I'm being fair. I don't think.
Yeah, to be honest, you know what? I think it's a lot different, as I said earlier, vocalizing it rather than just debating it over a text chat. I agree with a lot of what you said there. Like a lot of what you said there made perfect sense to me. What me and Cal actually, again, as I actually told you, and I showed you, kind of broke it down what we agreed on. We spoke about this in our show 8 days ago. We actually, when we basically crunched out spread out Arsenal's budget across our targets, we actually had for Bruno one upfront payment, because I always felt like that is realistically what Newcastle would demand, and I think that is what is fair in this situation. In a situation where we're like for a Barcola or a Rogers, where it exceeds 100 or exceeds 105 for me, you have to break that up into installments. It's just not realistic to be able to spend that all up front in one whole payment. Like, so with you guys, I think I actually believe and from what I'm reading, look, and all right, Fabrizio was saying that Berta and Arteta very much will do as much as they possibly can to try to bring in the player because they really want the player. If that's to be the case, I think, considering as well, by the way, that we really haven't spent any of our budget yet, that's why I think maybe it is good for us to go early on, and it's probably for both sides to go early on. That if let's say you say 90, right, and Arsenal's willing to, let's say, only willing to go up to 80, 85, I feel like still we might bridge that gap just to get the deal done. If it's a $5 or a $10 million valuation, as Cal was kind of pointing out earlier. And the other way is doing it is obviously throwing bonuses into the deal to just trying to extend that gap. But I don't know if Kane, if I offered you 80 plus 10 to get to 90, would you think Newcastle would take that? And the 90, I mean, Newcastle would take bonuses that. Are going to be very achievable, right? Like, so if Arsenal say, hey, we'll give you 10 if Arsenal, finish in the Champions League or win the league or something like that, which is our main club objectives anyway, rather than, let's say, ones I don't like is if he plays a certain amount of games and then the team sort of just pull him out, or minutes, I'll pull him out at certain times so they don't end up triggering the bonuses. I think Arsenal would honor it. We've honored it with all the players in which we've bought. We've actually, like Crystal Palace got their bonuses for Eze already. West Ham have gotten their bonuses.
The bonuses was us winning the league, and we won.
And West Ham have gotten their bonuses, and that was a whole bunch of other stuff. It wasn't just Arsenal.
I honestly think we 85 is probably the max that we go up to. I think we go up to 80, more realistically. I don't think we spend more than 80 million on Bruno. And if we feel like a deal can't get done for 80, we will walk away.
The question is though, Cal, right? Is that then you look at the rest of the market.
This is
Who's
the
your
thing.
Alternative?
I don't know who the club's alternative
are you going
is,
to
but
get?
We don't do business like that. We just don't. We don't get hyper fixated on one player. That's just not the way Berta does business. He has an evaluation. If he will not exceed,
I agree with that for the most part.
Do you remember what Gyökeres had to do to leave?
Yeah, that was over the structure of the bonuses, and it wasn't in terms of what the bonuses were. It was how they were going to get paid out.
Anton, they were haggling over like 5 million euros for like 2 weeks, but like it was ridiculous. Like. Gyökeres literally had to convince his agent to not get any bonuses. He took a pay cut. It was madness. So for me, like, you're cooking up scenarios where, Arsenal's gonna, help Newcastle. That's never going to happen.
I don't think Arsenal's going to help Newcastle. I think Arsenal want the player. I think that's where it is.
But we will walk away. Trust me.
Oh, look,
Anton really wants to play.
Promise you.
Anton does.
You know
what?
Anton really wants to play. That's why
it's gotten to the point.
I know.
To be honest, remove if we Bruno himself as a player. If there are alternatives that I'm happy with. I've gotten so far down the rabbit hole with you guys that I need to win.
No,
I need it.
That sounds expensive.
I know.
Berta isn't going to be hyperfixated. I don't care what anyone thinks or says. You know, if Newcastle actually put their foot down and they say, you know, Bruno, we don't care about your hopes and dreams. We don't care that if you're our captain. We want 90 million for you, and we're not willing to not get that 90 million. I think Arsenal will be like, okay, we'll just go and grab Alex Scott or grab someone else.
The question is though, with Alex Scott, I just have to ask the question: do I think Alex Scott is worth 80 million? Right. So then you have to look at the alternatives. Is there a player out there who actually get that for that price, even at 90?
Bruno also has no sell-on value as well, so we're essentially going to eat that cost.
Cal, quick question. I know this player's have been sold, but who do you rate higher, Mateus Fernandes or Bruno? I know what your answer is, right?
It's Bruno, obviously.
Right, correct. Mateus Fernandes went for 85.
Yeah, but that's because Tottenham.
If you're going to get Bruno Guimaraes for a similar price to Mateus Fernandes, that's a bargain.
That's horrible. That's horrible logic.
No,
it's terrible logic. They literally spend more than double than what they should spend on for Fernandes just to get him.
I'm telling you, I am not pivoting to Alex Scott. If I have a chance to get Bruno,
Fernandes
at that
is on
price.
a higher salary than Declan Rice. I'm going to repeat this, and I need you to understand what Tottenham did to get the player.
See, Ruki, I think about this because you were talking about these names last week, and I've done my research because every time this comes up, I like to go and do my research. And
that guy looks good.
He does look very good. He looks very good. Buwadi also looks amazing, right? But Buwadi
doesn't progress the ball enough for me personally.
Cal made the perfect analogy with Buwadi, and he sold me against it because I was pushing for Buwadi, and Cal can tell you I've been pushing for Buwadi before the Bruno thing came up. The only issue is, as Cal said, it's too negative. Like, if Rice is going to be out until September and I've got Buwadi and Zubimendi, that's too negative. Like, where is my creativity coming from? I'm just going to have a double pivot of two guys who want to go side to side. And
not only that, Buwadi is we're going to ask a teenager who's younger than MLS to come in and cover for Rice? Come on. That's never going to happen. Come on. No Prem experience. We're just going to drop him in and, hey, can we win the league? That's not going to happen, dude.
That's the other thing. Like, for me, Bruno is the type of player that you go and get and say, hey, we want to go back to back. I want a guy who's ready made from day one.
You're not willing to accept the fact that we might get him, eh?
No,
he wants real bad. He wants some real bad, Cal.
I do.
We won't overspend. I promise you.
To be honest, we had debates.
I don't think
we had debates over Tonali and Zubimendi here. We did our 11, but we did not debate the fact that Bruno, if he was in Austin, would be starter. Even when we had Kane and Asher all the way back in November last year, we said he would start for Arsenal. I'm not relenting on that. Zubimendi and Tonali, you can have a debate depending on the form of the players. You know, it's up and down, but with Bruno and Zubimendi, Bruno all day.
Yeah, I know, dude. You don't have to convince.
But I want to play. See, when I go to the market, I want a player who can start for me. I want a player who can start for me, not a what if. Oh, he could. He's got a lot of potential. Potential is only like.
He's getting worried.
It's not a guaranteed thing. I know, right? It's not a guaranteed thing. Potential. Right, Bruno. I know exactly what I'm getting.
Woo! Look at all that money.
But Cal's not going. Cal's not going fishing. But
nah. I think honestly,
all that money.
No, at the end of the day, I don't think Arsenal's going to move all the way to. I've said this over and over again. Part of it is negotiation, right? Arsenal's going to have a valuation. Newcastle have a valuation.
I don't think we go to 90. But I don't think Newcastle demands 90. I don't think they do that. I think they
What do you think
respect
that number
Bruno.
is?
I think a 75 plus 10.
75 plus 10.
You take that.
I think that gets the job done.
Will you?
I don't know. Maybe.
You got 75 million up front.
Not the whole 75 up front. That's this.
No, it would be 70. It would be 70. Whatever the base fee is, it'll be paid up front in this deal. I'm pretty sure.
If we're paying the entire base fee up front, the base fee wouldn't be more than 60 million. We're not going to spend 75 million up front.
I don't know if the base fee. I actually believe if the base fee is 60 million, I'll
what type of master negotiator are you?
I don't think
I might as well
do
the deal. I might as well go in and be the sporting director.
I'm not doing
75 million pounds up front. Anyone could do that. I can do that. I can walk up to Newcastle and tell them, hey, take 75 million pounds up front. Plus 10 million in add-ons.
Look, I've always had 65 plus 15. That was kind of what I put in my
Dude,
my
it's
algorithm.
Going to be broken up. Like, these guys are professionals, man. Like, come on. What? Like, you don't get paid to just lace Newcastle.
Look, it's not for me. It's not for me to do. My point is, I believe that if Newcastle have evaluation and Arsenal have evaluation, as long as Newcastle come to the table and they're talking and they're being respectful and they're realizing each other's sides. And they go, you know what?
I think the deal
meet somewhere. They'll meet somewhere in the middle. It's not going to be 100. As I said to Ash, she's like, it's going to be 100. If you're not read, it's going to be 100. I'm like, it's not. I promise you, won't be 100.
It's not going to be 100. No.
It'll be somewhere in the middle. I think Arsenal's valuation.
I think the deal might be like a 65 plus 15 or something like that. It'll be between 80 and 85, I reckon.
Well, 15 was always my number, but
yeah, it's going to be around that. Arsenal wants to pay 60 to 65. Newcastle
which comments
like 90. They're going to get to like 75, 80, 85 between that range.
There's nothing
probably 80
about
85.
Buwadi. I've really upset Rookie here. Well, I got Curtis in here. I also got and my boy Rican.
No, but that's a point.
Well.
That's a point, Rookie. He's not a ball progressor. We already have
my favorite not American Australian show. Big up.
That's the funniest. He's like, Rican's like, dude, you guys not American? This is weird.
Tell posting about an agreement. You talking about Terry, or there's another guy named Tell?
It's probably Terry.
Yeah, well, I would proceed with caution and then watch the video first.
Deal agreed. Bruno signed.
Anton had been improving ball knowledge. Curtis, improving. I get you're trying to.
He's still not there yet.
So pay me a compliment, but it sounds a little bit backhanded.
Don't be so mean, Cal. He's doing great. Especially in negotiations. I love Anton's negotiations.
Anton on negotiations. 75 million pounds up front.
I'm just trying. I'm not doing the negotiation. I'm trying to figure out where the number will be.
Damn,
dude.
Like, hey, I wish it was as easy as me and Kane. We're sitting here. Kane's gonna do the Newcastle. I'll do this. I'll get the deal done.
Kane would just say, "I'm not selling him for anything."
You don't want me. You don't want me if he's on the other side, man.
Kane's cordial when he's not in charge. If Kane's in charge, we'll never get in Bruno.
Yeah, I'm saying sorry, Bruno. They tried. They didn't do a very good job.
We're gonna like bid the right amount of money and they're gonna tell them that we lowballed you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, yeah. No, I didn't listen.
Yeah, so I think 70 plus 15 gets it done. I think 70 plus 15.
Possibly.
All right. I got you, Rookie. Okay. For me, if I don't really want Rookie's on the Bruno train, which
Rookie, you're right. He sucks. You don't want him.
For me, I don't really want Bruno. If we get him for 75, nothing more, fine. But anything above 75 is crazy. I disagree.
It's only crazy if we don't get anyone else. If we actually get our other, this is the thing that we need to realize as well. I'm saying, we're not going to spend 90. Let's say we do spend 90 on Bruno, but we do end up getting all our other targets. Then it's whatever. Then we spent the money that we needed to get all the players that we want.
If you miss out,
but if you're going to tell me we spent over like 90 to 100 million on Bruno and we're not going to get anyone on the left, I'm angry now. I'm upset.
I'd be surprised if you buy Bruno for 90 and then don't get a left winger.
Get a left winger, yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the only reason.
To me, the bonus, the cherry on the top in our window would be if we were going to get a left winger and then we're going to get a 10. So like if you're going to get both Morgan Rogers and Barcola versus or. That's the only thing that would be the cherry on the top of the cake.
I think
that's a whole other topic. I'm not getting into that, Cal.
By the way, I don't think like this Bruno thing is making me think we're not going to get Morgan Rogers.
You should go for more. You should definitely get Morgan Rogers over.
Yeah, I know that's what you were going to say.
No, but I just think
Bruno and a left winger, and I'm thinking double minimum.
Yeah, all the pressure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
by 20
Bruno
points
pushes our midfield to an entire different level. 29 plus 2 years left.
Minimum. We need
60, 65 is way more than fit.
Nice try.
If you add bonuses, then you have to kind of see what those are. But
I think it's fair for you. What you're also forgetting is Newcastle have much more chance of getting European football with Bruno than without Bruno. So if you're going to then pay for Bruno, I think we would rather lose value and sell him next year if it meant gain the money back on getting Europe. So you're also
I don't know if you would agree with me, right? And you're probably going to laugh if I bring it up. But I actually think that Buwadi, a better place for Buwadi at this point for his next phase of his career would be Newcastle rather than going to straight to Arsenal and Manchester City. I actually think that why not if they all the money you guys got, why don't you guys go for Buwadi?
Because we've got
if MLS didn't exist, I'd be more keen on Buwadi, to be honest. Yeah. But we already have a young midfielder.
For me, as a 6, I would rather put Lewis Miley there. I think he already understands the system. He's got the minutes. And listen, a lot of people were high on Elliot Anderson when he left Newcastle. We are much higher on Lewis Miley than we are on Elliot Anderson. This kid, I'm not joking you, has the potential to be ridiculous, a lot better. He just needs the time and the minutes. And I think selling Tonali gives him now a place in which he can go in there and flush, which is another part of the reason I don't want us to sell Bruno, because he can be there next to him, mentor him, and help him with that next step up.
Where do you see, by the way, because if Manzambi stuff comes in here, where does Manzambi fit? Let's say let's.
I think all the best player.
Where does Manzambi fit? Does he fit in the Joe Linton sort of position? Yeah. Or
if
Hall for me is is not human. Like when you see Hall play, it's like, okay, this guy is going to be one of, he's English, right? He's going to be one of England's
You wouldn't know it. You would have no idea,
Like
Thomas Tuchel. Tell that to Thomas
absolutely nuts what this guy can do. The fact that he's not with England right now, it's literally a crime.
It literally is. Bruno now, F the sell on. Buwadi is a child. There you go. Curtis is on he's got his brain turned on. Not that Rookie doesn't, but I agree with Curtis. That's all I'll say. So do I don't sell the Geordies. Sell the Geordies though. And Buwadi isn't a ball progressor. He is simply an elite ball carrier and composed Rodri-esque. He will continuously beat the press, and if we make a simple pass to a player advance, we in.
But the problem is we need more ball progression, so he doesn't solve our problem.
He doesn't solve Arsenal's problem. He's a good future
someone
prospect
described
to have.
Buwadi as Rodri with less ball progression, but I kind of need Rodri's ball progression. So, you know what I mean? I just need the ball to go forward more. I just can't have, because Declan Rice doesn't progress the ball, doesn't pass the ball enough forward enough. Zubimendi's not doing it enough. We bring in Buwadi is not doing it enough. So our own Odegaard's not doing it enough, which is why I'm so pissed off at him. So the only midfielder that we have that's doing it on a consistent basis is the teenager, MLS. That can't happen. This is why we need Bruno, because Bruno's going to help us with that ball progression.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Look, it's going to be interesting to see how I'm almost like glued to my phone literally to see any updates. So Fabrizio did, by the way, offer us an update about an hour or two ago now, or maybe even 2.5 hours ago, on the Bruno situation. He said Bruno Guimaraes' deal driven by Mikel Arteta, who's pushing to bring him in. Which, to be honest, that for me. Generally, when Arteta is the driving force behind some of these players, it means generally that's what gives me confidence that we are actually going to do what we can, bring the player in.
I've
In
kind
general,
of figured out
I don't believe
why.
that Sesko was of this ilk. The way he talks about like Arteta is driving the deal, have been those real players that we are planning to like have as a cornerstone of our team. You know, like
Rookie.
like I must have this guy because he's important, integral to why I want to play next year. Anyway, the deal depends on Newcastle's stance, but Arsenal are going to beat again. How many? I keep telling we're going to beat again. We're going to beat again. Where is the damn bid?
People are calling it the third bet. I think what we're doing is that we're going to Bruno's team and then basically just talking to Newcastle.
It's exactly what Kane described. Yeah.
I think the first one was 55. That was directly to the club through intermediaries. That was rejected. And then I think the second one was like either you were talking to Bruno and Bruno's agent said maybe something around 65 could get the deal done, but then that also got rejected.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So I think, to be honest, I think there must be in some point of this process, Arsenal's going to get an update on kind of what the situation is, and I do feel like they're not going to keep dragging this on based off of old information. That's why I don't think the bid is going to be what it would have been reported as before. That's why all of a sudden the figures have kind of gone away in terms of when the big boys are talking about what the new bid is going to be. The only figure I heard was it's going to be more than 60. Well, good. I would hope it's more than 60. Otherwise, like, we're not going to get the player.
About?
Right.
But yeah.
So,
yeah.
But like, so what Fabrizio was said here, though, based on back to what Kane just said, he made it clear that Arsenal did not have not approached Newcastle or Bruno via intermediaries. This has gone directly via his agents Berto Colucci, Yorbachian, and Malavot. He literally has to have the most hard to pronounce agents in the world. But they're all on it together. So I can't, I'm good at names and I couldn't do that. I literally couldn't. But so it's gone through directly to his agent. So a lot of reports out that they're approaching it through intermediaries. It's now literally straight through his representation. So I think it's a lot. I think literally at the start of this conversation, we were talking about it. I think, Kane, you hit the nail on the head. I think it's literally comes down to Bruno, Newcastle. Bruno, we know you've done right by us. Tell Arsenal, hey, if you can pay us X amount, then we're happy to let you go. If not, strap yourself in, son. You'll be here next season. Like, I think it's sort of kind of. It really comes down to that, really. But at the end of the day, I still think there is a point where if the valuation kind of is close, where the two just might just sit down and thrash out something that works in the middle, works for all parties. I think most transfers end up coming that way. I don't think it ever is at the selling club's price or at the buying club's price. It's always somewhere in the middle for me. Yeah. I think eventually that's what it would be. So we're going to see. There's every chance that this thing doesn't happen, but I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, pretty positive it's going to happen.
I'm pretty positive it's going to happen. Like, this was the point that I haven't brought up yet, which is we're saying like, hey, let's not. We're waiting. We're going to say that he's not going to do like Isak, right? He's going to be good soldier. And I was saying to Kane earlier today, I like that. One thing that turned us off about Alvarez is the fact that he's going on, professing his love for Barcelona to kind of like dismantle Atletico's stance publicly. And for me, I'm like, well, this guy openly is willing to
Alvarez
do backflips for Barcelona. Right. That's one thing I didn't like about Isak. I didn't like the way Isak behaved on this last year either.
He's only been there for what? He's been there for what, 3 years?
What, 2 years?
2 years, so even less. And he's already begging to leave. This guy has scored 8 goals in La Liga. I'm going to tell you why people rate Alvarez. People rate Alvarez is because he keeps scoring against Barcelona and Madrid. So you go and watch the La Liga highlights, and you see that, oh my God, Alvarez scored a free kick. Oh my God, Alvarez scored a brace. Yeah, that was like 25% of his goals that for the
He's
entire
absolutely
season.
ghosted this World
That,
Cup, to be honest.
You know what I'm saying? He's an absolute fraud. You know.
No, but I like
by
the
the
fact
way,
that Bruno
Ricky, I've
is.
been reading some of your stuff, and
go for
I
it.
understand what you're saying. What Ricky's saying is like he wants to start Buadi and MLS because they're gonna beat the press and they're gonna be tidy with it, and he doesn't like. Yes, but the thing is, it's like we're not gonna get pressed that much in the league. Like we're just not. We're not gonna get pressed.
See, we agree. We're starting to agree with him on Alvarez. Me and Ricky went back and forth over Alvarez.
Yeah, Alvarez is literally
ages. I was defending
60,
Alvarez.
60 is a 65, 70 million.
But my original point, of course, here was that I actually value a good personality, somebody who that is not willing to go to the ends and the dark side of the earth to kind of he has got respect for the club that he works for. He's a good person. He wants to do things the right way. Eze did that. Eze last year when he left Crystal Palace, it almost got to the point where he ended up ending up at Spurs. But he always wanted to kind of leave on a high, and you can see that by the way that Palace fans feel about him now, even though he's moved on and he's playing at Arsenal. I wonder what Kane would feel like, regardless of how it ends. But what I was meaning to say though is that him saying that he's wants Arsenal, he's willing to use Newcastle, is a light version of that. He's just he said like, I'm gonna say it nicely, like I know I love you guys, but this is a chance for me to go play for Arsenal, to go challenge with the Premier League title, challenge for the Champions League. I'm asking nicely, can I go? But for me, it already is a signal of intent that he wants to leave, regardless of if he really throws his toys at the pram and really starts to become a dick, versus just doing it the nice way. It's still him saying he wants to leave at the end of the day. That's why I feel, and I feel like it does give Arsenal some sort of leverage in the deal.
It does,
because we know that the player wants us. It's not Mertens Fernandez who's like, I'm going to go for the highest bidder, or Tonali, I'm going to go to the highest bidder. I want Arsenal. That's the same thing with Morgan Rogers. That's why when they say 130 for Morgan Rogers, Arsenal haven't really responded, nor do they feel they need to respond, because they're like, well, let's see what the player says. The player's already said a little bit of comments about, I don't think I'm worth 130, and wait it out a little bit and let the player decide how badly he wants the move. And if the player says, hey, look, I'm cool staying with Villa, then we walk away. It's not. And same thing with Bruno. If he says, hey, I'm cool being at Newcastle, we walk away. But I just feel like I think we're almost too far down the process here for us to kind of just walk away without him at this point. I think it's gotten serious.
Let's see how much Alvarez cooks at Barca, because they will play with Lewandowski up front. Let's see
do you
how
think,
well
actually,
Alvarez
that's actually a good question. I actually ask Kane, because now we're asking a similar situation, but it's with teams that aren't connected to us at all. Do you think Alvarez eventually ends up at Barca, or does he stay at Atletico Madrid or go somewhere else?
Ooh, good question. Starters, Lewandowski's gone. He now plays for Chicago Fire. Does he go? That's a real interesting.
I want to see the logic they use in this, because it's similar-ish. Although Alvarez being much more of an ass, but yeah.
Yeah, not really. I think it's a more extreme version of. It's more closer to the Isak situation, really. I don't know. Part of me feels like he does go to Barcelona, because at the end of the day, it's only going to hurt Atletico Madrid. But I'm intrigued. Without seeing the rest of their window, listen, Atletico. Sorry?
Oh, Ricky is saying he would run Saibari, but Saibari got injured.
All right. Okay. Well, he's got a Bayern
anyway.
Oh,
he's just got a Bayern, yeah. It depends on what Atletico do in the market. If they, the one thing that we had that went against us is we couldn't secure a replacement, and so we were kind of strong-armed into it. I think if Atletico, given Atletico's stance, what they've publicly come out and done, if they were to get someone that they could fill in for Alvarez in the short term, because you would assume it goes down the same road as Isak, where Alvarez will probably strike and not play. And so if they can't fill that void, that really works in Barcelona's favor. But if they do, then I can honestly, like I said, given the way that Atletico have behaved, I can see them being, I don't want to say petulant, but I guess stubborn is probably the more politically correct way of saying. They'll be stubborn enough to say, no, you'll sit there, we're not selling you to Barcelona. Or like if we sell you, it'll be abroad and it'll go somewhere else. That's where my
again, that's another thing though, is that you guys haven't done what they do, which is like literally making public statements that are kind of insulting towards the teams that are approaching them for.
They have like a 12-year-old running new account.
Yeah. I know it's bizarre.
That whole situation is.
Yeah.
So unprofessional. I actually got so mad at this is a sidebar. Like it stems from my annoyance came after we won the league, and it's like we lost the Champions League and all the Prem clubs trying to troll us on X and all that stuff. For me, it's like I respect footballing institutions. Like I don't like Manchester United, but I respect the institution. So maybe because I'm just unk now, I'm almost 30.
That's what it is.
Like I expect a certain level of professionalism, when it comes
I
to.
can't believe you said
you're the youngest one here, and he's unk.
What the fuck, man?
So I kind of expect a certain amount of like professionalism coming from like billion-dollar institutions. So like all this Twitter nonsense that getting official posts from the clubs is like leave that to the trolls on Twitter and the no-name accounts and stuff like that. That's for kids to do. Like as a professional institution,
I think that's what Newcastle is doing.
Over 100 years of history,
the likes of all the local journalists are all repeating Newcastle don't want. He's not for sale. He's not for sale. He's not for sale. He's not for sale. I think that's how they're kind of speaking in that way, rather than officially kind of through any kind of putting their own name behind it. You know what I mean?
Like if Newcastle the official Newcastle account made a post saying, Arsenal, you dogs, we told you 1,000,000 times Bruno is not for sale. We're gonna buy Saliba off you, you dogs. Like it'd be like
300.
What are we doing?
Listen, I heard reports that he might be available at 150. By the way, old Saliba.
Okay, that I will not go. I'm not.
That's really funny because it's like you watch Saliba has literally no reason to leave, absolutely none.
I think because what was the thing? Oh, it was the story was Barcelona have joined Real Madrid and PSG in monitoring Saliba. I can see PSG, in all honesty,
they're monitoring.
Yeah, well, of course, he's a good player.
I'm monitoring Margot Robbie's status.
No. Also, and the theory is they also mentioned the 150. Obviously, I don't think that was.
All I need is $100 million, and she can be mine. Whatever.
It was.
I don't. This can get very, very dirty. That's how this conversation. We're talking about offering women prices.
Okay.
We're not going down that.
It's like if I get my network up, she'll notice me.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's like I don't know where these garbage posts, where they get this information from.
Anyway, we are heading towards kind of where I wanted to conclude the show. There are a few points I want to touch on quickly. You're welcome to stay and talk if you want to, or can hop out. Might be my guest, whatever you want to do. The other news that dropped on the same day came from Gunner Blog, and I'm actually going to try to find what the clip. Basically, he essentially said that basically once the completion of the Leandro Trossard deal happens, and of course that is still. Okay, I found it. Okay, cool. I'll bring it up. That way I don't have to misquote him, and you can just hear it
has to do a madness.
Oh, here we go.
Probably quite a lot more. I mean, again, it's not the marquee signing that anyone's looking for. We're all hoping for that kind of Morgan Rogers, Bradley Barcola figure, and indeed I believe that's the sort of deal Arsenal would like to do and are working on. But nothing like that's going to take place until after the World Cup, and there's going to be probably quite a lot more brinkmanship before we get there. I mean, again, it's not the marquee signing.
So that wasn't exactly the clip part of the clip I did, but it does say something a lot to you, Cal, which is that basically, here we go. I think here we go. This is the one.
He comes in from Club Bruges. I think Solis, the Greek international, will probably be the guy who comes in from Club Bruges. Another story that we did at the Athletic with David Ornstein and myself. So yeah, I think that will be the deal that happens.
I don't know about that
40
one.
million euros for a player who's...
And I don't think we spent 40 million euros.
Yeah,
I don't think we spent that on Zolis.
Renew the squad, keep it fresh.
He said 40 million euros. It was 40 million.
Yeah, I don't think we spent 40 million euros on Zolis.
To be honest, I think I do think we're going to spend that much on him, to be honest.
Really? I don't.
Yeah. He kind of speaks a bit nonchalantly. By the way, Cal, there you go. We're not going to be advancing on Rogers or Barcola.
Yeah, we will only going to advance on them after when they come back.
Yeah, so you heard it from there. So you guys can put your phones down in terms of regards to the left winger chase. But I think that's the important. That's kind of like the interesting thing. Zola's for 40 million pounds, but he does say at the different part of the clip, which is he be coming in as a backup. For me, that says a lot. There's a lot of facts that are come out from that, which is Martinelli's probably gone because you're not bringing in Martinelli's not your starter with Zolis, right? And he's also said, by the way, that Arsenal is going after Barcola or Rogers, and that will happen afterwards. So for me, I feel like somewhere down, like Trossard, we're waiting to kind of put in the whatever, cross the D's, dot the I's in terms of him agreeing a deal with Besiktas. But I think that's going to get done. But for me, he's actually just inferred that Martinelli's gone.
No, how do you jump to that conclusion?
Because you didn't see in that clip. There was the
no. Like I don't need to see the clip. We're waiting.
He's saying Zolis is going to come in.
Trossard gets sold to Besiktas. We sign Zolis. Martinelli's getting sold. That doesn't make sense.
No, listen. Zolis is the backup player. He says, regardless of if Zolis, Arsenal's still going to target Barcola or Rogers as the left winger. He said Zolis is the backup. Where does Martinelli fit? Is Martinelli your third stringer if he stays?
We might just not sell Martinelli.
For me, it tells me that Martinelli's going. He's not your.
Maybe he's not. I don't think it's a guarantee. Like, who's interested for Martinelli?
Well,
who's interested?
Various clubs.
He's back from the World Cup. Who's ringing?
We haven't heard names specifically, but there are plenty of reports out of Brazil saying that he's got lots of interest. Hey, really Kane, I've been trying to sell you. We'll go down a different rabbit hole here. I've been trying to sell him Martinelli for a while, so.
I mean, he's better than Gordon, at least.
Here we go. That wasn't me. That was Cal.
Gordon had 1 goal last year. Come on.
Yeah, but how many did Martinelli have? He didn't have that many, did he?
Oh, he had
more in the Champions League, something that Gordon wasn't in.
Wait, how many goals did Martinelli have?
Oh, Gordon was in the Champions League.
He was in the Champions League.
Gordon had more goals in the Champions League than Martinelli. You know that, don't you? Right?
Yeah, I screwed up there.
Do you want to roll that one back out?
To be honest, to be honest with me, they're kind of the same guy.
Martinelli had 11 goals in all competitions.
If I traded Gordon for Martinelli, I don't think I'd get anything different on the left-hand side. All I'd get is pace and bad decision-making.
One thing I'll get from Gordon is that he will dribble with his head up, which is, for me, that's an improvement. But for the most part,
Gordon can dribble. He can go left and right. I never saw that from Martinelli personally, but listen, I don't watch him nearly as much as you guys.
Martinelli can go left and right. Martinelli, he's got all the ability and he's got the speed. The problem is his spatial awareness is very, very poor. Like there's like something lacking, and that's always kind of been the thing that has kept him from progressing to being
he's
a
not
better
that good of a
player.
dribbler, Anton. He's someone.
He's not a close space. He's not a good close space dribbler.
He'll knock it long and he'll chase after it. That's it.
So Anthony Gordon can, And listen, I think what hindered him a lot last season is we didn't have he was kind of on his own, so he was doubled up a lot of the time. And to be honest, I think for most wingers, if you start getting I mean, you see it with Saka. Obviously, he's as amazing as he is because he gets doubled up on and still produces. And so I've always got the respect for Saka like that. And that's why Gunn's not at the Saka level, but for me, he's better than a Martinelli. That one-on-one, he'll take on every guy inside, outside, and he'll produce for you. It's just he never really had the chance because he was always doubled up on last season. And he was playing. What you also get is I suppose you kind of see with Martinelli, you can go across the front and play in the air. Gordon can do that as well. I just think there's a lot of misunderstanding on Gordon. He's not this elite player that many people would probably thrust him into, but he's certainly not a rubbish player. And unfortunately,
I don't think he's a rubbish player, to be honest.
He's rubbish. He's still like.
Yeah. This is but personally, to me, I really don't rate Martinelli that highly, and that's just me.
I'm willing to accept that.
Yeah. So that's just me.
To be honest, I've seen Martinelli have got his moments. Like at the same time, like I feel like a lot of, and I feel like I can take either side of the aisle with Martinelli, because at one point, by the way, 3 years ago, I loved him. Look, I've been shitting on Martinelli a lot. Side? Listen, firstly, he's a clutch player. He does literally. He just
if Martinelli was clutch, we would have won the Champions League 2 years ago. I had to watch him stuff up against.
Do you know he scored at the Bernabeu away from home to clinch that?
Dude,
to clinch
I don't care.
I mean, I don't care. That's the biggest stage in world football. He went and he scored away at Real Madrid.
A game-winning goal or anything.
It put the tie away. But
it was already winning.
So he killed it off. Manchester City at home. The most important goals is here. Bilbao
scoring when you're already up 2-1 isn't.
Okay, but I'm just giving you situations where he's scored an equalizer or he's won a fan.
Every player has one or two nice moments. It doesn't define them. Martinelli, more often than not, 9 times out of 10, disappointed the fuck out of us. That's why we started Trossard, even when Trossard was off form. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. He's not good enough. He ain't that good.
I don't know if this is true, but I've just seen here that apparently Arsenal have submitted a third package of 75 to Newcastle, 65 plus 10. I don't know if that's real. That was Intexel, medium.com or something like that.
I don't believe that.
Do you not believe them? I don't know how credible they are, but
honestly, in terms of,
are we only going Ornstein and Fabs?
Who's the source?
Pretty much.
Medium.com. Oh, it's that Intel on.
I've seen so many posts English, of
especially
saying
when it's
that
like
there's been a bid and there's all
Prem.
Different numbers and
I think when we're trying to get players outside the Prem, sometimes you get like the weird guy who gets it first, but when it's within the Prem, it's usually just Ornstein just telling you.
Yeah, generally, yeah. I think when it happens, Ornstein will break. I saw Team Talk going.
Ornstein always seems to be first for us.
This is what Team Talk is saying, right? Fraz Fletcher. Arsenal preparing official bid, which sources say will hit £80 million. Newcastle insist stars not for sale, but are aware of exit wishes. PIF face devastating fourth loss in 9 months. Then another one, exclusive. Arsenal submit third package offer of 75, 65 plus. So like,
it's different numbers.
There are so many different people just saying a bunch of different things.
Yeah, they're just like saying shit. Yeah, it's like, don't believe it. Okay. Ornstein will tell you.
Yeah.
At least for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal are pretty. None of our stuff gets leaked. There's not many people who get access.
I think with this one, I feel like with this one.
No, this one.
I think it's the point where you kind of have to stop it. I think from either side. Like I think we're going to get into a really fragile part of the conversation. I think this is kind of where it makes or breaks. And I don't know if Arsenal want a public figure let's say Arsenal bid below what Newcastle want, and Newcastle rejected out of hand, but it's not their last bid. Maybe sometimes in these kind of negotiations, it's not always like this is I've submitted an official bid. It's more like, hey, Bruno's people, hey, what have they said? Oh, they said if you give us 80, the deal is done, right? And then they say, hey, how about
the deal was on ever since we tested the waters, and we once we bid a second time verbally, it was
right.
always
Just
on.
give you an example.
Because if Newcastle, honestly, Kane, if Newcastle said expeditiously, we will never sell this guy, and we're going to offer, you need to offer something crazy, I don't think we'd come back with a second. I think we'd just kind of walk away. I think there's a little bit of a wink, nudge.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of timing on as well. Like I said, I think the number at first may well have been around 60, 65 before the Sandro deal. I think the Sandro deal has changed things. I think Arsenal fans who think it hasn't, I think are kidding themselves slightly, because it does materially change Newcastle's financial position. So we'll see. I just
we shall see. Anyway, we will wrap it up right here. Did I have anything else on the agenda, Cal? Did we? I talked about Zolis just for a second, but
we talked about Zolis.
Get into him completely. Was it? Oh well, yeah, the Jeremy Monga situation, but maybe we'll save that for another time, because we're gonna.
Yeah, I think it's a muchness of a muchness at this point.
But look, maybe I'll end it with a message here, right? And I've been seeing a lot of stuff, and Cal knows I've been a lot of like, hey, just be calm, right? It's wherever I keep stating the date. It's the 9th of July, right? We're not going to freak out. Freaking out over missing out on a target that is 16 years old, and the player was willing to wait around long enough without closing that deal until Man City came in to swoop, tells me that wasn't a player that Arsenal, that was fully committed to Arsenal anyway. So it doesn't bother me. I will not really be bothered about players who aren't fully committed and loving and wanting to come to the football club. Like the fact that Bruno says, I want to come to Arsenal, for me, is why I want him. Morgan Rogers has said, hey, I want to come to Arsenal. That's why
I wanted these guys anyway, but the fact that, we've built a club where most of the players that we have said that they wanted us by name. Almost every one of them. Declan Rice said he wanted us by name. Eze said he wanted us by name. Gyökeres said he wanted us by name.
Sure did.
Zubimendi is probably the only one that was kind of weird about it.
But his actions spoke louder than words. I don't think he's... Yeah, he was weird that he was going on talking about Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid. That was weird. Yeah. That was about a week weird. Before he actually signed. Yeah. So
he was the only one that was a bit weird. But in terms of... And he wasn't even a Berta signing.
Yeah.
But it's like...
And he also almost joined Liverpool too.
We've built a winning side on that sort of, I want to play for you. I'm interested in the project. I'm gonna buy in, and those guys have been our best players and our hardest workers. So to move away from that philosophy would be a bad idea. Like if Bruno said,
Barcola is the other big one, and from what I know, because Kane, I don't know if you know this, but I know the guy who actually scouted Barcola. He actually works here in Australia now, and me and him have been texting back and forth at times on the deal. So from what I know about Barcola is that Barcola is open to joining kind of like any big club in the Premier League if a good offer came in. He's impressed with a lot of the projects that he's seen. He's been with Arsenal, he's been with Liverpool. I know he's actually also been met with Chelsea. That's just only come from my mate Benny, who knows his representation quite closely, and I just asked him.
Can't give away sources, Anton. You can't give away sources like that.
No, he knows. He knows. I can. Benny doesn't give me, hey, he's agreed personal terms. Hey, he's going to go to Arsenal. He just knows what the feelers, how the player feels like about his certain meetings. So but apparently he met with the clubs, and this was way before even the World Cup happened, and there was a lot of disagreements that went back and forth between PSG and the player in terms of his contract and more importantly, his role within the team, his playing time. And basically PSG made it quite clear to him that no one in this team is ever going to be guaranteed any specific amount of time, which Barcola didn't like. And so Barcola is looking to find his options elsewhere. He's met with 3 different clubs in England.
Well, that doesn't
Arsenal,
bode well for us because
Chelsea,
we're not going to do that either.
And Liverpool, yeah. And so I think he prefers Arsenal. This is not Benny, but from what I've read is he prefers Arsenal. That if Arsenal were to say, "Hey, no, we're going to take Rodgers, thank you very much," he'll sign for Liverpool. So, like, I don't think Barcola is in that category of I absolutely want Arsenal, but they're his top choice. That's all I'll say. But he's happy to go. I think he's happy to go.
I mean, if he's expected to come to Arsenal and is like guaranteed minutes on the left, he's not getting that.
I don't think it's guaranteed minutes. I think he doesn't feel like he's had enough minutes. And unfortunately, it's like he plays under behind Kvaratskhelia, and I think he understands that. Like that again, that's not Benny. Give me about 2 or 3 sentences, but I'm pulling a lot more than was actually.
I don't think we get Rodgers on Barcola. That makes me even more sure that we're not getting both.
We shall see. Again, I think it comes down to Martin Odegaard, and if.
But even then, if Barcola is like wanting guarantees, and then we get Rodgers, who we probably want to rotate
if we sold Odegaard and bought Barcola and Rodgers, Barcola is guaranteed.
Oh, like if we sold both,
games on the left.
Yeah.
He's your guaranteed starter on the left.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, guys, we're gonna end the show right there. Rookie, I know you sent me a lot of chats. I'm just seeing the time kind of tick down. I'm trying to direct us towards the end goal here. But basically, I'll read a few of them here. Basically, he was talking about Alvarez, and the only reason why is because Alvarez for me was a little bit off the topic. It was the Bruno Guimaraes show. Okay. Alvarez is a 10-second striker. Send him to Barca. He suits them and will cook there. Simply not Arsenal-like. I stated it the last time. Bayern needs a striker to compete and replace Kane in the coming 2 seasons, and they didn't go for Alvarez. Rather, they went for Saibari. He's not saying he goes to Arsenal. He's saying that.
Oh, yeah.
And also, we will get Rodgers. Anton, read the batch of the comments before we move. Okay. Cal, you are misinterpreting my comments simply because you read one and ignored the rest. He's talking about you saying Saibari. I actually support Atletico position. If PSG or Arsenal do the same to Pedri, they will overreact the same. Absolutely. Bayern and PSG, a lot of Bundesliga clubs are interested in Martinelli. There you go. I want to talk about Martinelli, but probably unnecessarily adds on to the point. My details won't matter. We are done. Read the comments. Rodgers, Buwadi, Barcola, Fresneda, and one more in the perfect window in my books.
I would only be happy with Buwadi.
Kane would love that.
I only want Buwadi if you could guarantee me Rodgers and Barcola for that experience. I'm not happy with Buwadi if we're only getting.
I think Buwadi goes for higher than Bruno. I honestly think he goes for higher than Bruno. The fact that you have Arsenal and Manchester City both involved in it, and I think that ends up becoming a bit. That's another thing about.
But then
Buwadi.
again, Manchester City, they're going to get sanctioned, so they will pay whatever they ask. So you're right.
Yeah, no. For me, unless we walk away from Bruno, I'm Bruno until the wheels fall off.
Dude, you can't get too attached.
I'm not attached. I'm just liking the fact that he wants us, and I think he's the best player available. Like when everybody else was getting after Anderson, Tonali, Mateus Fernandez, all those names that were being floated around before the window opened, right? And kind of everybody's on a mad scramble, mad dash to get those guys. Arsenal went, no, I'm going to get a guy who's not actually being spoken about in the open market, who's a better player, who we feel like we can get on a better deal. And for me, that's I like that.
City are going to get Buwadi, Ricky. Like, you need to understand that City is literally the only club that's willing. Well, City or PSG are the only clubs that are willing to, and because they're super rich, they can just buy him and not even use him. They'll buy him and then loan him out to Lille. But there's no way we spend that sort of money on a player and he doesn't impact our season next season.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's great to have Kane on the show today.
Thanks, Kane.
The very last second thing I threw out the floaters,
thanks for showing up,
and I kind of wanted to kind of get more clarity on there are a lot of discussions about what Bruno can and can't do, and I wanted to kind of have a bit more clarity on it from a Newcastle fan who will just tell you how he plays because he watches them all the time. And Kane is always more than welcome to come back here anytime after, especially after it is official.
Like signing a contract. Yeah. I'd love to come back there.
You know what? I will. Even if it goes wrong, I will. I'm a man of my word. I will. We'll have the discussion, and I will eat my. I'll be like, I was wrong, guys. I'll play.
You're not wrong for wanting him. You're not wrong for wanting him. There's nothing you said's wrong. You want a player, and you've saying facts that will.
Okay, so if we don't get him, I'll play this.
Where Anton was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That must be rare, huh? That must hurt.
No, but we play this one a lot, though.
Where Anton was right.
You might say that.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, hopefully.
Anyway, guys,
we're gonna play. We're gonna play those whether we get Rogers and Barcola. By the way.
Oh, if the summer pans out, I'm gonna get one or two wrong. I said that from the beginning. I am gonna get one.
No,
or two
the
wrong.
main one is the Rogers because I'm convinced that we aren't getting both, and Anton is convinced that we are getting both. So,
because I just think I remember back when Ornstein said there's going to be a major exit, and that major exit is going to shock you. And the minute he said that, I'm like, it's two names: it's Odegaard or Havertz, because they have 2 years left on their deal, where everybody else is committed. Like it makes sense, and Odegaard hasn't given you much production in the last 2 years.
Can happen, but both of them, we'll see.
Oh, actually, Cal, my brother played a song for you. Actually, for me, because he thinks I'm an Odegaard hater, but I actually rebutted him. But I'll play it. Wait.
Lifting trophies with his mate.
Oh wait, that's the end. Wait.
So I put my hands back. I'm rowing along. Odegaard's here to play, scoring the goals like yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Pinging the pass like yeah. So I
pinging it backwards.
Hands back,
like
nah. Our skipper's here to stay. Yeah.
My response was scoring the goals. He only scored one goal last season, so goals is incorrect.
Dude, did he score one goal? Like
Brighton at home. Yeah,
just all comps or just Supreme?
All comps. Yeah, one. Brighton at home.
Bro, let's not get into it. But every time someone tells me I can give Odegaard one more chance, I get angry. So that's it.
Anton, when is the next show? Rookie asks. It is going to be next week. To be honest, I like to kind of get my feelers out. It goes between Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. We've been alternating. It really depends on if something really exciting happens.
If the Bruno
move happens tonight, I'll be here tomorrow. Like, or you know what I mean. It really depends. If there's something big news that happens, we will basically go live as soon as we possibly can, according to our schedules. Otherwise, we're going to have once a week. So it'll be range between Tuesday and Wednesday, depending me and Kyle's schedules,
and with
as
the
well
way
as the news.
How slow Arsenal moves in this window, any more than that could just be completely waste. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, guys, thank you again for being here. Just over about 2 hours. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we can be back tomorrow. But to announce that Bruno signed a new contract with Newcastle. No.
Hey, he was right.
Yeah. We're out of here, people.